because we are supporting the California Black Chamber and their event. We're one of the sponsors. So we will not have a main topic at the end. And so we will just go through the business meeting and some of the topics that we discussed during the business meeting, as well as ratify many of the action items. With that being said, I am going to ask our secretary, Stacy, is actually handling another event for me in the Bay Area, so she's not here today. Our assistant secretary, Angelina Ville, will be hosting. So at this time, Angelina, can you share the agenda that we have for today? Okay, excellent, excellent. So I am going to officially call the meeting to order at 10:08. And I am going to entertain a motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
Madam President.
It's been properly moved.
And I we accept the agenda as presented.
It's been properly moved by Ardell Harrison and seconded by Velma Sykes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. Next on the agenda item is the reading and the approval of the minutes, which I will have Angelina provide that information. Angelina?
Good morning, Madam President. These are the minutes from the Saturday, April 9th, 2022 general membership meeting. Meeting was called to order at 10:02 a.m. Approval of the agenda. Pastor Banks moved to approve the agenda as presented. Selena Pryor seconded the motion. Motion passed. Reading and approval of the minute. Chris Jones moved to approve the agenda as presented. Lynn Berkeley Baskin seconded the motion. Motion passed. Membership report. The secretary report was tabled to the next meeting. Treasurer report. The treasurer report was presented to the executive committee. All bills were paid. For more information, contact the treasurer, Daphne Gauthier, at Daphne NAACP in 2019 at Gmail. Assistant treasurer, Shirley Brown, follow Brown W at AOL.com. Action items. Art gallery that commemorates gun violence victims, requesting a proposed budget of $2,000. The art gallery commemorates individuals who died from gun violence. We are asking the photos of these individuals be displayed in front of the Capitol or in front of City Hall. The gallery can be displayed however we choose. Velma Sykes motions that we accept the motion to accept a proposed budget of $2,000 to provide resources for the art gallery that commemorates gun violence victims. Ardell Harrison second the motion. Motion passes. Dine to budget Black restaurants. Betty gave kudos to Selena Pryor and Lorraine Moore. This is historic because in the history of the Sacramento branch of the NAACP, we have not received this much funding. We received $2.75 million for the Dine to program. Stacey Anderson moved to accept the budget. Ardell Harrison seconded the motion. Motion passes. SEIU, last month, SEIU asked for the NAACP to weigh in on a letter writing campaign. The information was presented to the Health Committee for a recommendation. Velvet Sykes moved to table the recommendation for the Health Committee until next month. Stacey Anderson seconded the motion. Motion passes. Prayer breakfast budget. The prayer breakfast is on April 15th, 2022 at the Doubletree at 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Stacey moved to accept the budget for the prayer breakfast as presented. Ardell Harrison seconded the motion. Motion passed. President's report. City of Sac Clean Energy Grant. Betty appointed new Assistant Secretary Angelina Ville. Janice Cadati will also be assisting secretary duties. The bylaws state that the NAACP can have 2 secretaries. This 3rd secretary is an unofficial position. Veronica Williams was hired to work in the office. Veronica will start April 11th, 2022, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. She'll be starting part-time Monday through Thursday. The office is closed on Friday. Unfinished business, advocating for Black restaurant on Sacramento. This is different from the food desserts. One of the action items was the Dine to program. The county gave 7.7 million to restaurants in the county and excluded all African American restaurants. The NAACP started fighting this. When we went before the county board of supervisors, there was a unanimous decision that supported this endeavor to fund Black restaurants in Sacramento. The board of supervisors were excited that they were able to fund organizations like the NAACP to distribute monies to the food deserts that are still out there. Larry Harris asked if there are any way of knowing what restaurants receive the funding. There is an application RFP process for those who like funding. Once the process is complete and organizations are confirmed, the organizations will be announced. We accounting for all the funds. Wanda Clark's donation campaign. We are still working with the Wanda Clark Group to rebuild her home. Contact the website and click on donations. 100% of the donations will go to the fund. 2022 California Hawaii NAACP Leadership Retreat, membership campaigns April and September. Betty. The Sacramento branch of the NAACP has been exceeding the numbers. The national expectation is 5 new members a month. One-day resolution meeting due Friday, national NFL resolution. We were able to get in one resolution. The executive committee approved the resolution committee to approve resolutions that will be brought to the general membership for ratification. When the resolution is passed, it will go to the national committee in July. Lynn gave an overview of the resolution. The resolution covers the use of internet platforms for our youth. The resolution is all about holding social media industry and profiteers accountable and requires active prevention methods, etc. Action item. Stacey Anderson moved to accept the resolution as presented before us to be given to national. Shirley Brown seconded the motion. Motion passed. Prayer breakfast, April 15, Doubletree, Lorraine. Our prayer breakfast is April 15, 2022. The tickets are moving fast. There is a deadline for April 10th to purchase tickets. If you have any ads you would like to place, you have until midnight tomorrow. Pricing for ads range from $250 full page and $150 for half page. There are 4 more vendor spaces available. The early price for vendors has passed. Vendor space is now $75. There will be tickets available in the office. New business, the downtown shooting. The NAACP has had discussion about what can we do. Betty has been participating in meetings with other community members about what we can do. We recognize that these shootings have been constant in our communities. The resources have not been there in our communities. One thing you want to make sure of is that the narrative for what happened is coming from the community. Betty noted the importance of defining the narrative and what it means to be tough on crime. Betty is compiling a statement on this issue. The last piece of this document notes what getting tough on crime means. We also want permanent fixtures that serve as resources for the community. Eugene Willis spoke about members of our communities that are leaving our communities when we receive status, etc. Betty posed a question about what's next, who defines the narrative, how do we support our communities, e.g. those in the prison system who learn trades but can't use them once released. Ardell Harrison suggested creating a bill that allows those previously incarcerated to use their skills once released. There has been discussions about the credits to be released early and rehabilitation program. There is a question of how do we keep our resources amidst the current firestorm. Stacey Anderson noted that it is not right to judge the many because of this decisions of few. Stacey stated that maybe there should be an oversight committee to monitor those released. Betty noted that this is an election year for the district attorney, the attorney general, and other roles. Betty posed that we need to ask questions about what resources are available to our communities for people to stay out of prison once released. Pastor Banks tried to create a program with other ministers to unite with fast food and other businesses and pay for half of the salaries to hire newly released until probation was completed. Ardell Harrison spoke about the tiny home program that he is working on. The participants can learn skills in the program while living in a tiny home and simultaneously working on larger projects is being worked on. Chris Jones suggested having a gun amnesty program that allows the community to turn in firearms. Chris noted the city of Sacramento may have a project labor agreement that requires union labor of all jobs over $1 million. Betty Williams asked, how can we get back in touch with our youth? Selena suggested that we coordinate with organizations that have stayed connected with them throughout the pandemic. Betty asked the general membership what they would want to tell Mayor Steinberg. Pastor Banks, are the funds available for the faith-based communities for these programs? RJL, we need centers, community centers for our youth. Get some stay-ups rather than pop-ups. Stacy suggested to review good exiting programs to ensure they are doing what they were designed to do, allow for the defunding of those organizations that are not meeting needs. Are the programs culturally sensitive? Are they meeting needs of communities? Are you providing resources for parents to reinforce the support? Angelina, the city of West Sacramento and Sacramento are hiring teams for the summer. Betty noted partnering with organizations that may not have the resources for writing grants, etc., as well as recognizing the unsung heroes. Maybe we should have a regional collaborative to bring these regions together to ensure communities have the resources they need. Betty spoke that we are only as strong as our weakest link, so we need to invest in our weakest link to ensure this disparity does not affect others. Betty summarized, one of the discussions about resources for those being released from the prison system and the organizations that are working. She also noted the importance of intentionally having our youth as part of those discussions. Betty encouraged members to invite youth to these discussions. The discussion will be on our YouTube channel within 48 hours. Forums, May 3rd, Wiley Manual, 6:30 p.m. at the McGeorge School of Law, Burbank, at a later date pending. April 22nd, 2022 will be our second forum. The forums will cover 3 elections, DA assembly race, AG race. We will be partnering with 100 Black women in BAPC. The times of the meeting will be announced and will be in the newsletter. A legal redress and expungement every 3rd Saturday morning, which is located in the newsletter. Register for the event below. Hybrid event with NCNW and SAC NAACP. Next one will be at Burbank at a later date pending. Facebook Live to start at 11 a.m. 9 members watching in Facebook Live. Announcements. We will support the crab feed with Baypack Crab Feed is on April 15 at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are sold out. Judges needed for AXO, contact Tawana Barnes, the AXO chair at axo@gmail.com if you're interested in volunteering, and become a member of the NAACP. Anyone with questions can join us through our website. If anyone is an NAACP member is not receiving the newsletter, please let us know. Stacy 916-289-2539 or stacy.anderson@blueshieldca.com. Membership, $30 for annual membership or $750 for a lifetime membership. You can also make installment payments of $75 for 10 months. Adjournment. The meeting was adjourned at 12:05 p.m.
Thank you, Angelina, for the reading and the reviewing of the minutes. I am going to make actually one correction unless someone else finds another one. The revision would be on the documentation of the law enforcement forum with Wiley Manual and NAACP. That was actually May 11th, not May 3rd. And it was actually 6 o'clock, not 6:30. And so I thought we corrected it in Thursday's meeting, but maybe it didn't reach over to this one. So if you can make that correction, so with that being said, I'm going to entertain a motion that we accept the minutes as read and presented before us with the revision.
So moved, Madam President.
It's been moved by Ardell Harrison. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Ms. Betty. It's Angelina.
It's been seconded by Angelina. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, so moved. Membership report, Angelina?
Yes, so the numbers for February are being held off until June at our next meeting. For March, we had 11 members, 2 of those were youth. For April, we had 13 members, 3 were youth. And for May is off to a good start. We already have 13 thus far.
Oh, wow, good. So we're exceeding that 5 a month that the state is required.
Yes, we are.
Okay, excellent. Treasurer's report, what I am going to say, since we don't have the treasurer or the assistant treasurer on, is that all bills have been paid and was presented to the executive committee. Any member that's part of this meeting, if they would like a copy of the treasurer's report, you can, Angelina, I don't know if you have Daphna's email. If not, Angelina, just put your email in the chat box and that way you can get it to Daphna. But Angelina's going to put her email into the chat. And so if you, as a member, you can review the treasurer's report, but it was accepted during the executive committee meeting. I think the next on the agenda is the president's report. And so I'm just going to assume that's what it is. So what I am going to touch on, just a couple of things that was mentioned in the minutes. There was SEIU approval waiting for us. And speaking with Stacy earlier this morning, that recommendation has not come forth from the health committee yet. So we will not be taking a position on it. The resolutions that was also mentioned in the minutes, we did make it to our resolution meeting, and Lynn's resolution did make it. However, it was tabled and sent back to their political action committee for revision. So we're not sure. We're not sure if it actually made it or not. And we also had a resolution regarding the tribal, as far as the no gaming. They actually tabled that one again. And so we're pretty sure that one's not going to make it to national. But with that being said, we're still working on some things with national. Let's see what else was mentioned in that minutes. The shooting was also mentioned in the minutes. We wanted to change the narrative, and thank you, Greater Sacramento NAACP. We did change the narrative. What happened, we wanted to move it from the mass shooting, either the Acacia shooting or the 10th Street shooting, and bring focus on the issues at hand, which those shootings happening every day, all the time in the Del Paso Heights and Meadowview area. And as a result of that narrative and that information coming from this branch, the entire narrative have changed. And you'll notice in every single newscast, they are no longer, they stop using the word mass because we changed that narrative and continue to do so. Congratulations on that. So those are the things that came out of the minutes that I just wanted to make sure that we did some things and they came out of that. Membership report, treasurers, action items. Oh, I went straight to the president's report because I didn't see that. So let's go to the action items and I'll come back to the president's report. So the first action item, the budget for the HUD project. Remember, we received a grant from HUD to do outreach and counseling to our community on home buying. Tanisha and Ardell took a lead on that. And so for February, March, and April, and a little bit part of May, we held ongoing forums and did one-on-ones, and actually had a couple of counselors fly in from HUD, from Los Angeles, to participate. And so the executive committee approved the budget for that event. And so it's presented to us this morning for ratification. And so it was passed at the executive committee. So at this time, I am going to entertain a motion that we approve the budget for $2,300 for the HUD project, and the line items was $550 for the blast ×2, rental of the event space ×2 days, and refreshments. So $2,300. So I'm entertaining a motion that we accept this budget as presented before us.
This is Velma, and I move that we accept the budget for the Housing Committee event as presented.
Thank you, Velma. Do I have a second?
I second, Madam President.
It's been properly seconded by Ardell Harrison. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, dissension known, hearing none. It has been approved unanimously, Madam Secretary. Second action item, office supplies reimbursement from the general fund. The reimbursement, I believe is, just for a matter of record, I just want to name, I believe it's Lorraine and Mika, Lorraine Moore and Mika Coleman. And so with that being said, I'm entertaining a motion to, yeah, my brain is going so fast. I'm like, God, we're moving really fast. It's only 10:28. I'm entertaining a motion to approve the reimbursement of the office supplies for the two young ladies. That's the motion.
I move that we approve
So
the
moved, Madam President.
census.
It's been moved
For
by
the-
Velma Sykes. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. It's Angelina.
I second,
Hi,
Madam
Angelina.
President.
It's been second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. Next is the budget for when that actually happened May 9th. Angelina, do you have a copy of that budget?
I do. I can pull it up for you, Madam
Okay, thank you.
President.
So while she's pulling that up, I'm not sure if this is part of the agenda, but I'll have Velma speak on it just in case it's not. So with that, we do have a budget. Can you scroll all the way down to see the total number? 2,500. So I am entertaining a motion that we support this budget. Let me go back also, just so you know, it's not just supporting it. There was secured funds for this from the city of Sacramento, who was one of the sponsors, at $5,000 for this particular piece. And so therefore, there is money to support that. We just have to write a report based on what happened for this event. With that being said, I'm entertaining a motion that we accept the budget of 2,500 for the WIN mixer or award reception. That's the motion I'm entertaining.
So moved, Madam President, as presented.
It has been properly moved by Ardell Harrison as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. It's Angelina.
It's been properly seconded by Angelina Ville. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Aye.
Abstention? So moved. With that being said, I'm going to ask Velma to elaborate on the event that happened this past Monday. Velma, who's
Okay.
our WIN chair as well as our third vice president.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, President Betty. We had an event on Monday, a reception, an awards reception that was an excellent event. We were, it is our annual Women in Leadership Awards ceremony. And we were honored with the presence of Dr. Shirley Weber, who is our Secretary of State, the California Secretary of State. And she was recognized for her hard work in the elections process, making sure that everyone was able to vote with the voter centers that were opened, the mail-in ballots that went out to everyone. I know people received text this year saying that they were being mailed and then hopefully have received their mail-in ballots. But just all the work that she put into making sure that everyone was able to cast a ballot and that their ballots were counted by the she even implemented the registration the day of the elections. Just a lot of things that hard work that she did to make sure that we were included in voting, that everyone was included in the voting process. So that was great. She gave a great speech as well. It was awesome. And then we also recognized Lynette Hall, the community engagement manager at the city of Sacramento, for her hard work in engaging the community and making sure that we not only got the information, but also resources from the city that we, have historically been left out of. In outreach and marketing, and actually getting contracts to do certain things. And then she also spoke passionately about her mission for the position that she has taken, and thanked the NAACP for the work that we've done in ensuring that the job is being done well. So it was a great event. We had a lot of participants, a lot of people came out, lot of great networking. I believe I got some new members, not only for the NAACP, because you have to be a member of NAACP to be a member of WIN, but I believe that I got a lot of new WIN memberships as well. So all in all, a great event. The awardees were very pleased with being recognized by the NAACP. And I don't know if everyone got the city's newsletter, but we were highlighted in the city's newsletter this week.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So thank you, President, for being there. The president was there. Our first vice president came, as well as our assistant secretary. I believe did I leave anyone out, Betty? I think that
No,
was,
yeah, that was good.
but it was great. And thank you guys for being there and supporting the event.
It was an excellent event. It was so good. It was just highlighting the establishment where Velma held it, as well as far as a Black woman owned event. Velma had a Black woman caterer. Everything was women, women, women. So it was all, it wasn't, and both awardees, their speeches were so passionate and right on time. They were really, really good. So excellent job, Velma.
And we did have men present as well, but it was all about the women.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We need both.
Thank you
Need
for
both.
acknowledging that, Thelma.
Oh, you guys. Okay. Thank you, Velma. Great report. I believe next on the agenda is now I can finish up with the president's report, which I'm going to bring up the one of the things that I need to at least bring the branch abreast of. You may have heard of the Burgess brothers. Matter of fact, John Burgess was one of the people that were at the event that the WIN had on Monday. And so I wanted to just bring it to your attention of an issue that may or may not be arising regarding the Burgess brothers. And I say Burgess brothers for two reasons. They're two brothers that both of them are firefighters, but they also are both in the restaurant business. And so in the restaurant business is the part that I'm going to address right now. They have reached out to the NAACP, claiming that the local branch of the Sacramento branch of the NAACP may owe them money, and there's a potential lawsuit that they may come after us with. So that lawsuit is based on a 1969 claim of his great grandfather. And so what I can say as far as that is concerned, the claim was based on property that the grandfather had, I don't know if it's a great grandfather or grandfather, so I'm going to say grandfather for now. And the city was trying to take the land away from the grandfather. They reached out to the local branch of the NAACP. At that time, the Sacramento branch actually owned a credit union, which helped individuals get homes, because we had the redlining and all the things that come with disparate treatment for home ownership. So the Sacramento branch had a credit union. And so during that, they did get involved, get lawyers involved, and helped reclaim that property and some other things and some monies in one in the settlement. And so with that, that's when it becomes gray. I did have Selena do some research as far as getting a copy of the will to find out if we truly owe them. They said that we stole their property. The Sacramento branch stole their property. But the research that she came up with, Selena came up with the actual will, and sent me a copy along with California Hawaii President Rick Callender, where the grandfather actually stated that we would receive either ownership of the land, and or if there's a sale of the land, we would receive those proceeds either to the credit union and or however we chose to use it. And so the actual document did not say anything about the Burgess family and the grandfather giving any of that to family members. It was all donated to the local branch. So at this point, I had given it to the state, and whenever you mention lawsuit, then we give it to national. So there's somewhat of a passionate discussion that's going on between the Burgess brothers and NAACP, and in resolving. At the end of the day, the Burgess brothers feel that the local branch at the time took advantage of their grandparents and stole their property. And the will is clearly not saying that. But if we are starting to hear some things, I wanted this group to be aware what was going on with the Burgess brothers in the event that there's a potential lawsuit. In addition to that, the Burgess brothers is quite upset with the Greater Sacramento NAACP for the Dine-In 2 program. They feel that they are representatives of the Black Restaurants Association, and that whole discussion should have went through them. They were never at the table, ever. And so as NAACP, we don't need permission from them. So there's some feelings about that as well, but I wanted to let this group know what's going on with that. Any questions? Okay. Next, I would like to highlight the forum that happened this past Wednesday, where we had law enforcement with Jim Cooper and Jim Barnes. We also had Alana Matthews. Tin Ho did not make it, but Alana did. And we had two judges, Coleman and, oh my God, I know Ardell and Angelina was there. Do you remember the name of the other judge?
I do not.
What about you, Ardell?
I can't recall that
Okay.
judge. Sorry.
Okay, well, at least I'm not by myself, not remembering. But the forum was excellent. It was excellent. What I can say as far as the debate between the sheriff, that probably was more a passionate discussion than overall. And I'm going to say this, and I have a problem with Barnes, Jim Barnes. He was asked a question regarding the whole Rancho Cordova chief of police incident, and that particular chief during racist and disparaging remarks and actions during her tenure there. And during the investigation, it appears that they gave her a pass by allowing her to retire, and the investigation ended. So there was a question based on that. And instead of answering the question, he deflected and went after me. And so my thing is, when a person show you who they are, believe them. And so his piece that he went after me is that I had said in one of the many interviews when this happened that it was interesting that they chose a Black chief of police after she retired, versus him actually should have been the first person that they hired as chief of police for the Rancho Cordova versus her. We have documentation where they gave the sheriff of her negative and racist views and suggested that she would not be the chief of police. However, they chose to hire her anyway with all of what had came before them. And my thought process is that they should have hired the Black man first. But then when she became true to what they warned the sheriff about, then they allowed her to retire and the investigation stops. And then they hire the Black chief of police, which I did make a statement that looked suspicious, but it was on them. It had nothing to do with the credentials of the Black man being hired, but it had everything to do with the management making that decision at that time. So he chose to lean in on me and said to go towards the direction of this Black man has all these credentials, and he was hurt that the NAACP thought he didn't have the credentials. And I thought he did a great job of deflecting. And I really wish our commentator would have checked him on that, because he never answered the question. He leaned in on me. Trust and believe, after that, I approached him and gave him a piece of my mind. At the end of the day, he pissed me off. He apologized profusely and said that he should have never said that. It was the wrong place to have the podium, to say that at the podium. And so I just find it interesting. He did declare that he was, well, it was found out that he supported Trump, and this is a nonpartisan seat. So whether you go for Cooper or Barnes, it just really made me mad that he felt comfortable enough with a Black audience to go after a Black woman in the civil rights realm. And so at the same time, I also know that Sheriff Scott Jones is going after Black Lives Matter. As a matter of fact, his commercials include the attack on Black Lives Matter. So Sheriff Jones chose Barnes to run for this seat. And I just thought it was interesting that he felt so comfortable that the Black community wouldn't say anything as he went after me. But with that being said, I also want to give kudos to Ken Nelson and Ardell Harrison, who backed me up when approaching him on his attack on me. And so I just thought, when someone shows who they are, believe them, as he's running for sheriff. And this is me not promoting or endorsing one way or the other, but calling it out as I see it when you see someone like that. Ardell, would you like to add anything to that? I know you were there.
Yeah, Betty, I had never seen a captain squirm the way you had him squirming. You had actually put him on the spot and called him out on all the stuff that he did do. It was not necessary for him to deflect that way. And again, like I say, even though he apologized and said he would make a public statement, in my opinion, the damage is already done. And again, we were able to see exactly where he was coming from, and moreover, where he's going. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions regarding the forum? But the forum overall was good. Any discussion on that? Okay, and finally, in my president's report, just want to remind everyone to share with 5 or 10 people to vote on June 7th. We actually are in a good place. You can vote by mail. As soon as you get your ballot, you can vote by mail and mail that, or you can take that ballot to any of the centers that they have available throughout the greater Sacramento area and drop it off. You have up to 28 days before the election to actually vote or drop your ballot off. To vote in person, you can go anywhere in the county up to 10 days before the election. You can register to vote and vote on the very same day and or drop off your ballot. And so if you moved and you vote in a different place, you can still vote. It just will be a residual ballot. We want to remind folks that in the state of California, not in every state, but in the state of California, if you are an ex-felon, you can vote. As long as you have satisfied all of the requirements of that. For example, if you were put on a 2-year probation, you have satisfied that. If you had restitution to pay back, you have satisfied that. If all of those things are in place and done and completed as an ex-felon, you can vote in the state of California. You can also vote if you are in jail. In jail means that you haven't been put before a judge and a decision hasn't been made yet on your conviction. And so therefore you are assumed innocent prior to seeing a judge. Therefore, we as NAACP can go in the jail and register people to vote and actually have them vote inside the jail. A lot of people don't know that. And so we want to make sure that we share that information throughout our county. And normally in primaries, people, there's not a heavy lift to register or to have people come and vote. But we have some really big shoes to deal with this year as far as state controller, DA, the attorney general, many of those. So we just want to make sure individuals vote. And with that, I'm going to end the president's report and go into unfinished business. So advocating for Black restaurants in Sacramento. So we are doing an excellent job when it comes to the dine-in program. So that's what this is about. We are providing food. Let me just start with some of the deadlines. We had a deadline for individuals who would like to register to get the free food by April 30th. So that deadline has passed. However, we're looking at every 90 days or so to look at that and open it back up to see if individuals missed the first deadline. We're going to start reassessing to see if we can get more people in for that. And so the food desert just simply means if there's not a supermarket or a place to get quality food, fresh fruits in your neighborhood, then you would qualify for the dine-in program. And so the dine-in program simply means that one of the restaurants or caterers would deliver food to your home. And this would be for each individual in your home. That's one. And it's hot meals from local restaurants. So it's not just a basket of fruit or vegetables. These are actual meals, and it's 3 meals. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if it's a family of 10, then it's going to be delivering breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a family of 10. And so that's what this program is about. However, the Black restaurants have a different end date in order to register for the program. Their end date is actually the 15th of this month, which is tomorrow, actually. And so they have look, I'm really showing my roots, up until tomorrow to register to be on the list to qualify for the Dine-In 2 program and to be one of those restaurants where the county would pay us to pay them to be part of this program. So that's what the Dine-In 2 program looks like. We originally said that we could handle about a little over 700, close to 800 meals per week. However, we've had over 1,000 individuals that actually registered by the 30th. And so when we actually are pulling in statistics to see where the most needs seem to be. And the zip code 95823, which is South Sac, is the largest proportionate of number of people who are registering. And then there's a large number in the Heights area as well. But we have some good reporting that we can come back to say who we fed, how many families, even their income level. And it's sad. And we want to give you an example of one family. They actually collectively, husband and wife with both incomes, are making 6 figures. They have 7 children, but they can't afford to feed them making 6 figures, which is the type of information that we're gathering. But this is what we're doing in NAACP and membership as far as trying to close in that gap. In addition, we're phase 2 of that is trying to get farmers markets in those areas so they can start getting fresh fruits and vegetables in their homes. Because they don't have a store close to them. But I just want to let you know that it's off and running. Restaurants and caterers are signing up, and we've had so many people sign up for the Food Desert program. So questions about that, especially with my NAACP folks, who people may be coming to you and asking questions. How can I get involved? What can I do? How can I get on? So I'm hoping the information I've been able to share helps. Any question?
I have a comment, not a question.
Sure.
I commend you guys. I mean, I know I was part of the first meeting, but I dropped off. But let me tell you, this is awesome program in that, you know, we've known that we don't have quality grocery stores in some of our neighborhoods, you know, and it's been a long, long time fighting for fresh produce, that, you know, fresh meats and fresh food in our neighborhoods. So this is helping a whole lot. And I think the fresh fruit markets is just an awesome opportunity to get healthy food
Betty, I have a
to
question.
our community. So thank you so much, you know, for this, Betty, because you know, this is just what we need. It really is.
Thank you,
no matter
Velma.
who's doing it, you know.
No, thank you. Thank you for being part of that first meeting, because you know that first meeting was a fight. It was not a pretty meeting. So thank you for being part. And when did we start that, Velma? Like back in June of last year, fighting this thing?
Right. It was last year because I was home more then.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Yeah.
So thank
Yes,
you.
Betty, I have a question.
Sure.
Is this for the city only, or is it the county and the city that the participants can receive the food?
It's the county. So anybody within the county can receive
Okay,
it.
great. Because like I said, we know that Sacramento is a food desert. And as you know, I flew to Florida just to be able to try to resolve some of the food issues regarding being able to have healthy food. So this is most definitely the step in the right direction. And I have some people that are in the Elk Grove area, and I was just making sure that they did qualify because it is in the county of Sacramento. Thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. It's in the county. Anyone the county can apply, not just in the city of Sacramento. Yes, good question.
Do we have a press release that we can send, not to the news, but like to churches and to, places like, well, you know what I mean, unconventional
Yeah.
sources,
Velma, we hadn't thought of, that's a great idea. I don't think we thought about that.
But
Let's you and I
I'll
talk.
do that yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Thank
let's talk offline about that and getting that out. And I'll work with you on that. That's a great idea. Other questions, suggestions, discussions regarding the restaurants? Okay, Wanda Clark is ongoing as far as donations, and so in rebuilding her home. Ardell, is there any updates on the Wanda Clark home building piece? I don't know if you're talking, Ardell, but we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. I think his audio is messed up.
I'm sorry, was there a question directed to me, Betty?
Yes, any update on Wanda Clark?
Yes. I got an update on what was it? There was that Wednesday, and basically the property has been transferred back into her name, and Rashid said that they were moving forward. And I kind of got on them because I say, you're moving forward, but I don't hear anything. I don't know anything other than now the property is in her name. The property is ground level and they're ready to move forward. But he was talking about they were taking plans over there for her to review and this, that, and the other. So I told him, I need to be in the loop. So right now it has been conveyed back to her, and they are moving forward. But I'm going to be getting with Rashid this week to get a more update on the design, the cost of the house, and everything else. So if we're going to be contributing, we most definitely want to be in the loop. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next I'm gonna go to, we keep the 105th anniversary because we're still waiting on one more payment or proof of payment. Once we get that, we can take this off of our agenda. Velma, do you have an update?
I'm trying to get you the proof. I know I did it myself with the credit card, and I'm just looking. I just asked our accountant to research it because we got a new accountant since then. So I'm trying. Hold on. All right, and I want it off the books just as bad, and they do too. They want to make sure that it's paid as well.
Okay.
So, all
right, excellent. I discussed the forum in detail, so we don't have to go there. Burbank, it looks like we're going to have to wait till after the primary in June to have a forum with the National Negro Women. We ran out of time, and Deshanis and LaMills weren't able to connect in time to have it prior to the primary, but we'll definitely have one, a forum after that. So at this time, that's unfinished business. We have, okay. I'm going to make a correction because I think the R&B Festival is September 3rd, not the 2nd. Angelina, I think you booked it for the 3rd. So we need to make a correction on that. It's Saturday, September 3rd at Southside Park from 11 to 7 p.m. Right now, we do have a preliminary Eventbrite up for tickets at $20. I'm looking to start in another week the R&B Festival meetings. So, and we already had a couple of headliners reach out to us to participate for this day. So it looks like the way things are going, and there's a lot of bands and vendors who have already started reaching out to us. So with that being said, we might have our lineup earlier than we normally do with the R&B festival. So look forward to that. Again, we changed locations, west side. And what's interesting about that, they're really booking up really fast. So I want to thank Angelina for following through with the paperwork and making sure that happened, because for that particular weekend and date, when we're looking at various parks, they were saying somebody already has it, someone else has it. And so we finally got one. So any questions regarding the R&B festival that's coming up? And just make sure we have the correct date for next time, Angelina. Okay, if legal redress actually is every third Saturday, which is next Saturday. It's done by Zoom, and it's from 10 to 12, and there's the link. If we can copy that link and put it in the chat as well. So anyone that would like to share that information, whether you are a member or not, you can participate in legal redress, and it's all issues, whether it's law enforcement, housing, education, employment, all of those issues. You will have access to attorneys for free. And we have a number of attorneys, not just our legal redress attorney, Justin Ward, but the public defender's office has offered all of their attorneys to participate in this. In addition to that, we have expungement attorneys available. So if you know of anyone that's trying to get their records expunged, this is where you would go to get that done, and those attorneys would walk you through this process for free on our end, for free. One of the things that we discussed in Sacramento and discussing with the local DA and Schubert, it was Lynn, myself, and LaMills is getting the fees, the court fees waived for expungement, and they did agree to have that done. So right now those fees are being waived. But we also encourage individuals to go to our website, which is at the very bottom of this presentation, the NAACPSAC.com. Click on complaint and then register your complaint. And what happens, our legal redress person, Lynn, will make sure that your complaint is part of the legal redress clinic. And so an attorney could look at it. And so we encourage you to go directly to our website, the NAACP, it's at the very bottom, NAACPSAC.com. Click on complaint, register your complaint, and then you'll be sent this very same link that we have before you. However, you'll get a follow-up email and or phone call reminding you to participate with these free attorneys. Any questions regarding legal redress and the expungement? Okay, hearing none. NAACP volunteers sign up forms. If you know of anyone who would like to volunteer, here's the link to volunteer. I guess we need to copy and paste that too and put that in the chat, Angelina. And so if you are interested in volunteering for the NAACP, please use this form to do so. We're always looking for volunteers for everything that we do. We had a full week this week, kicking it off with the women's reception and awards piece, then going till Wednesday with the forum, and which leads me to the announcement for today, which is the open air festival that's being held by the California Black Chamber, and the NAACP is one of the sponsors, and we do have a booth out there. So after this meeting, which is why we're not going till 12 o'clock today, please go and visit the festival. It's free. And visit our booth, or tell someone and share with you to visit our booth. We have membership, we have information about the NAACP, and you'll be able to greet and see our volunteers and or our executive committee members, as well as myself, in person versus in Zoom. So all of us, everyone worked really hard to make this happen. It takes a lot. So we always need volunteers for everything. So please join us. At this time, I'm going to open it up for other announcements that you guys would like to share. Are there other announcements? I see Alex on. Alex, are you a new member with the NAACP? You can turn your mic off. On, I mean. Mike, or Alex, your mic is on mute. It's still on mute. There you
I'm
go.
coming out of it now. Yeah. No,
Okay.
I guess I have to check my membership. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Betty. This is Alex Joe. I'm the candidate for supervisor, District 5 in Sacramento County. I should know many of you. I'm just going to let you know that the election's on June 7th. The other thing is that we have a candidate forum on transportation set for this Tuesday, the 17th. It's a Zoom meeting. You'll find it under SMART, the Sacramento Metro Advocates for Rail and Transit. Starts at 6 p.m. So we'll be having conversations about the transportation, rail, and bicycle routing, housing, and the like on that evening. So as for my membership, I was in the 90s the school board member in Elk Grove and served with Dr. Ellison. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
I was part of the executive committee as I was a board member with Elk Grove. But life continued on after I left the board. Do I have time?
Time for.
Well, I just want to tell you a little story, Betty.
Well, actually, this
I'll
is a
be
shortened meeting today
Yes.
because of our
Okay.
obligations in the park, but I am so glad if you can, I just want to make
I'll
sure
be
that we
brief.
get out of here in time, but please
Right.
give us your elevator speech.
Okay, so here it is. I've been a candidate for supervisor since 94. 1998, I ran again, and the retirement of the current holder, Don Natoli, just sparked my interest again after I had gone back to work and retired from teaching and gone back to work, retired from the military, and found this as an opportunity. So here I am, and this is what I've been doing. And now it's a run for this office to be able to get there, look at the finances, and work with the people in the county employ, deal with homelessness as we can, and work on traffic. End of statement. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
And come out to Cesar Chavez Park and shake hands and meet everyone.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other announcements that I may have missed, or just what's happening in the community? Hearing none? Then I am going to properly adjourn this meeting at 11:11, and hopefully I'll see you all at the park. Thank you, everyone. See. Oh,
you.
wait. I'm sorry. I always have to end with, please become a member of the NAACP. Go to our website, naacpsac.com. Membership is power. That's our voice. We have these meetings every second Saturday from 10 to 12. And and share a lot of the information that we do throughout the week. We really, really would love to have any and everyone to join the NAACP. It's just $30 for the entire year, or you become a life member for $750 for a lifetime. With that being said, now I'm going to officially adjourn the meeting at 11:12. Thank you, Angelina.
You're welcome, Miss Betty. Have a good one.
All right.